Hello there, welcome to Pirates in Teepees. Joshua Besnay here. Today we're going to rebuild the forks for an XR400R. Most of these forks are fairly similar, so even if you don't have an XR400R, you'll probably still be able to learn something from this tutorial. You'll just have to change a few of the wrench sizes and fluid amounts if necessary. But yeah, so let's get going. Alright, first we're going to see what you will need for the rebuild. There's a few tools and whatnot. So you're going to need to get yourself some bushing kit. I got this one all balls. See a link below for purchasing on this on Amazon. Also, you'll see I've got oil seals, a seal seating tool, 43mm. For an XR400R. You need two 14mm wrenches, 24mm socket to get the caps off the end, 19mm socket for the bolts on the other end. You need an impact, otherwise you won't be able to get the bolt off the end here unless you get a special tool. You're going to need fork oil, 1.1 liters, and lots of shop towels. And the final thing you're going to need is fork oil level gauge. You can order this from a link below or make your own using a turkey baster and some tube. Basically, you want a stopper so that this tube will go down inside the fork to the specified distance from the top, and then you can suck the extra oil out and get the exact right level. Alright, let's start taking this thing apart. Clean surface to work on. If you are stuck working in a dirt area, make sure you put a big piece of cardboard down or something, because you don't want to get any dirt inside the tube. Alright, first thing you're going to want to do is unscrew the end cap and pump all of the oil out of the shock. When you put the end cap back on, you're never going to want to do it more than hand tight. You can always use a socket, never use a wrench or anything else. It's really easy to strip this nut out off the top here, this bolt, whatever you want to call the cap. And maybe getting it off, you might need some leverage, but once you do it, only hand tighten it down, and then you're able to easily remove it, and it's not going to go anywhere. There's an O-ring inside here, not to mention it's a very visible part. If you saw it starting to loosen up on the bike, it's really easy to see. Okay, so let's take this thing apart. You're going to need to get this nut off the end here. You're going to want to make sure your cap's in, spring's still in there so that you got some friction. Easiest way is just to use impact. Put that on there, press the spring, boom, comes right out. Got this thing out here. This ring is going to be in your kit here, so we'll replace that. Careful, there's going to be a bunch of oil coming out. Don't do the same thing I did. You're going to want to make sure the end of your fork tube is in a container because you're going to have excess oil coming out of here. It's going to be a really messy job. This might not be big enough, but I've already spilled enough oil out that it'll be fine at this point. For the next one, I'm going to get a little bit of a bigger bucket to put it in. Okay, now that we got that bolt out of the end, see where we're going to take this top cap off. That'll lower down. And then this is when we use the 2-box wrenches to get this spring out of here. Now you got your cap off here so you can replace that O-ring. Now once you've got the spring out, you see the pin in the bottom here. Boom. Everything can come out. So you got the two here. small screwdriver, you can get the dust seal out. This is going to be one of the parts that gets replaced. So, boom, dust seal. And then you're going to need to get this ring out of here. Second, there's a circlip after the dust seal. The rebuild kit will come with this ring as well, which is cool. I just replaced the seals last time. It started leaking right away. Once you get that clip out of there, you'll be able to pull it apart like this. And now we'll clean this unit up and come back and put it together. I sprayed a little bit of throttle body choke cleaner inside here and then wrapped a piece of rag around a stick. Now I can get really nice and clean inside the tube. That's key to preventing wear. I think I didn't get it clean enough last time, and all I had done was replace the seals. And the shock just didn't last very long at all. One side lasted. I'm going to rebuild that one anyway, but this one did not. So, inside there, make sure everything's all good and clean. Set everything in a clean place. I'm all out of push cart space right now, so otherwise that's what I would be using. See, here's one of the pieces we're going to replace, along with the seal. Boom, boom, those. So, pull these seals off. If you get lost, we'll look up on Partzilla an exploded view of this shock, so we can remember how to put it back together. But I'm assuming it's the wear on these parts that caused the failure before. Keep cleaning. First thing we're going to replace is this holder on the middle tube there. So there's a little gap in it. Use our handy dandy screwdriver and get it up just enough to pop that old bad boy off there and set it aside. And new one just slides right on there. Easy peasy. You can do the outside ring that goes next. Looks like this goes both directions. Slides on here, boom. Handle. Next thing that goes on is this washer, which is reused from the old one. And then we need a fork seal. The fork seal goes on. Use a little bit of a clean fork oil. On there. And it looks to me, tapered side should go up. You'll end up with something like this. Okay, now the center sleeve is going to go in. We've got all the bushings and stuff on here. Now this is key. This has to go in the end here. So it's going to cradle the inside piece. So make sure it sits in like this. Then, the tool is going to go on here. We're going to use these to seat the bushings. Now it slides right in here. Well, bushing is seated. This now comes off, ring. Now fork seal. That going on there straight. Boom, boom, boom. Once again, handy dandy seating tool. Put the ring on here. Boom. Last thing. Dust seal. Sweep over. And once again, seating tool. There we go. Boom. All together. Easy peasy. Lemon. Okay, so now that we've got this thing together properly, get that all put together there. And slide that baby in there. It's going to allow us to put it to the end so we can get it tightened up. Okay, so now this thing's all put together. And here, now this will actually work. We're using the force of the spring, we're using impact. Some people probably complain about this because I'm not getting the exact torque. This is the best I can do. Boom. Now that's on there. Move to the next part. We'll take this top back off the ground. Now, fully compressed and springs removed when we do the, when we actually put the oil in here. What I like to do first, I'm going to make a little holder out of tie wire to keep that from going in there too far. Now, take the fork oil up to 113 millimeters from the top. A little over half a liter in there. And we're just going to suck the fork oil out until it gets to the right level. Okay. Back in. As far as I can get it. I'm going to use, once again, my stainless steel piece here. To hold it. Now, grab this piece. Not let go of it. Get your spacer. It's above the shock. This is the final build. We're actually going to tighten this back on here with wrench. That's good. This cap goes on. Remember, hand tightening using the socket. enjoy. Rebuild shop. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, and some subscribe would be good. Maybe not the thumbs down so much, but yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.